Hello everybody, this is your man Cowboys Fan 777 here, and we are here for another creepy storytime video. Today, we're going to be looking at another one of my favorite creepypastas of all time, Sally.EXE. So, this will be a word-for-word reading, and we're just going to get right into it. So, turn your lights down, keep your volume up, close your curtains, we're going to get into some Sally.EXE. I'm a big fan of the Sonic the Hedgehog series. Like a lot of people, I narrowed down to the classic Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon shows though, because I think the rest Sega had spawned was rat crap, each to their own. I was browsing eBay the other day. I wondered if there would be any items about my favorite character from the series, Sally Acorn. Indeed, what I'd found was a plushie that was manufactured in Sega World of Sydney, which closed down due to the lack of visitors in 2006. Those Sally plushies were very, very rare, but I didn't have the money to buy her, and my parents would despise me for it. I examined the plushie for a while as the article came with pictures. This Sally even had her jacket. On it was written with a permanent marker, God. I didn't really know what it meant, probably the initials of the child owning her before they sold her. I clicked the back button and returned to the Sonic Sally search, knowing I wouldn't win the auction anyway, only to find another article had appeared. Sonic Sat-Am cartoon, all episodes, for the price of only $1 on Instant Buy. Sat-Am DVDs were never released where I came from, so as happy as I was, I wanted to rewatch the show and checked out the article. It had no description and no address of where it came from. Germany, Canada, etc. It was missing, and the shipping price was stated to be free. I looked up at the photo of the article. It was a blank CD. I decided to buy it anyways, not just for this nostalgia, but the writing was great and I loved Robotnik in this series. Well, it all started when the mail arrived, the next morning. Oddly, it was a Sunday. I was happy to receive the episodes and immediately put the blank CD in my laptop, starting the DVD. Sadly, the DVD didn't start, but it offered me to show the files. So I opened the folder and saw a Sally.exe application. I was confused at it being an EXE, but it started anyway, and indeed, it was playing a Sat-Am episode. The episode Hooked on Sonic began. The episode started out all normal, along with the intro. No blood or anything, but the sad thing was that my computer blue screened when the kissing scene of Sonic and Sally started. The computer rebooted and I took out the CD as I thought it malfunctioned and threw it away. I could have asked the person to give me my money back, but he can keep the dollar I gave him. I mean, it's just $1. I continued to normally browse the internet, speak to friends on Skype and all. Nothing was wrong until when I was watching a random YouTube video. My cursor started to completely spaz out. I disconnected my mouse, but the cursor continued to thrash around the screen. I even deactivated my touchpad and it continued. Suddenly, it came to a stop and I carried on, ignoring what had happened. Soon, I found myself downloading a ROM for Sonic the Hedgehog. Fun game. As soon as it had downloaded, I started up my emulator and began the game in windowed mode. But oddly, the screen went black. I shrugged it off and waited for the game to start. The familiar Sega jingle didn't sound. Well, it did, but it was slowed down so much it sounded demonic and it even gave me a cringe. The background remained black and Sonic didn't run past the logo. It faded to black and some text appeared. I first thought it was a red font, but it looked like it was scratched into my computer screen. Up around 2, I blinked and flinched as the main screen came on. The sky was a dark gray and the clouds looked dull and black, right before a thunderstorm. The mountains were decayed and so was the logo. It even looked partially rusted. I was amazed at the pixely detail, but it also scared me. Sega 1991 was now replaced with Sega 666, and the water was a bloody red. The familiar music wasn't played either. It was just a 16-bit mess of sounds, the demonic Sega occasionally mixed in. Instead of Sonic showing up, 2 characters appeared next to the logo, Tails and Knuckles. The sight of them terrified even more. Tails' eyes were black and they were bleeding. His fur had become a dull gray black, and he had a look of anguish on his face. Knuckles looked far worse. His red fur darkened to a reddish gray. Dreadlocks were dripping with blood, and his eyes were black and bleeding like Tails. He had a look of sadness on his face, too. A new character popped out of the middle logo. A pink, bubbly little hedgehog poked her head out. First she was smiling, but then frowned at what she saw around her. She was confused and nervous, like she didn't really know what was going on. Amy Rose, I thought? What is this all about? Curiosity drove me to press or enter. A short yet loud static sounded and the screen faded. I wish I hadn't done so. Kyle didn't want to play with me. The writing appeared again. What a shame. But I can play with you, right? The demonic Sega jingle sounded again as for a split second. An image flashed. It disappeared too fast so I couldn't make it out, but I swear I could see a red and black Sonic with black and red eyes. I almost felt them pierce me, and at that moment it made me jump. It didn't begin the Green Hill Zone Act 1, though. I wish it did. Instead, the title card read Not Perfect Act 1. The game had begun. The ground looked like the normal green hill zone, but the ground was pitch black. The background was pitch black. Amy stood normally where Sonic would be in the original game. It looked a bit, surprisingly, that was a well-made sprite. It wasn't her classic self, but it was her current self. It looked official even. On the opposing side of the screen, where Amy was, there was a large silver ring. In front of the ring stood the sprite of Sonic with a smile on his face. The animation of Amy standing there was that she stared forward with a lovey-dovey expressions as hearts came from her head and here and there. I guess I should head to Sonic, I thought, as I moved Amy towards Sonic, but Sonic ran away and jumped into the ring. I made Amy leap right after him. The level teleported to one of those stages where you can get a Chaos Emerald. The background was pink with love hearts all over. It looked cute, but I was distracted by only having 4 red and white colored spheres to jump on. I lost my control and I fell into a wall of gold spheres. Just as I thought I'd teleport, a loud shriek sounded, and the image of this demonic Sonic continued to flash over the screen. The screen completely spazzed out, and I heard shrieks, loud shrieks of what I could swear was Amy Rose herself. I kept hearing, "No, no," and loud cries of agony and pain, and which abruptly ended with more static for a split moment before the screen cut to black. Soon, the title screen appeared again. Knuckles and Tails were missing, but instead, Amy appeared. She was smiling her usual cute smile, but her body had holes. Not bleeding holes or bullet holes, just holes that pierced her body all over. Her colors faded to a dull black and white. Even her eyes looked oddly disfigured. This scared me so much my entire body began to itch. I scratched myself over and over as I watched a new character appear. I frowned upon seeing Cream, who had a sheer, terrified expression and huddled against the logo for comfort. Poor Cream. I wanted to quit the game, but as I forced, I hit start again and screen faded. Kind and Fair, Act 1. The stage was blank now, and the background music was a drowned-sounding, slower version of Green Hill Zone. It nearly made me gag, but something forced me to play it. The stage began, and Cream's sprite was, like Amy's, very well done. The environment was childish. It looked like a cutout, but in front of Cream was a TV box that gave you higher speed. I made Cream crouch down and do a spin dash, and I dashed ahead, crashing into the box. The level didn't change. The ground was a solid platform, and it seemed that Cream was going faster and faster and faster, and she crashed even more boxes, and more and more. And I noticed the music got completely out of sync, which scared me. Cream suddenly crashed into a wall of spikes. A loud splat sounded, which didn't even sound like it would belong in a 16-bit game. Poor Cream was torn to shreds. Blood dripped from the spikes and the bloodied rabbit as the background slowly began to melt in front of my eyes. The image flashed again, and soon the title screen appeared. As I expected, I was back on the title screen, and Cream appeared with Amy. She did look scared, but the other eye was, how did I put it, droopy and dead and bled a black goo. Her ears were over her face, and instead of the black of her head, back of her head, her color scheme changed from a brown to an orange to a very, very dark purple and red. Her dress was a dull gray. Time for the third character, and God, did I want to cry and weep when I saw Sally Acorn pop out of that goddamn logo, putting on her innocent smile as she waved towards me, like she didn't even know what torture would happen to her this time. The game was so terrifying and yet so fascinating. I wanted to stop real bad, but my hand wouldn't budge. I even started shaking. I wanted to reach for the power button, turn the damn thing off, but my hand just wouldn't move, and before I knew it, I already hit start and the screen faded. Blank, Act 9, it said. A sad, dull melody played in the background as a silhouette of the ground, a sprite silhouette that resembled Sally in front of a background that consisted of the whole group. Amy, Cream, Knuckles, Tails, and Robotnik appeared, all in their tortured forms with a saddened expression. It also had Sonic, but in a nearly unrecognizable way. He had a wide grin on his face with razor-sharp teeth. He had black eyes with red pupils for dots, which were bleeding. It looked like he would reach out to the silhouette in front of him. I tried to move Sally to get her out of there, but each wall wouldn't budge, and Sally would do a pushing animation. I stopped in front of the middle as, to my horror, the stage began to shrink and the black started to close in on Sally. I tried moving her again, but the walls wouldn't budge or move. I walked Sally back to the middle as the walls closed in on her. She crouched down before she completely disappeared in the black. Splat! The red writing appeared on the screen again, only it was dripping like blood and it was crooked. Sonic, my love. Suddenly a familiar scene faded in. I recognized it immediately. Sonic Sam was playing from where the CD had cut off. It had a reddish shade and Sonic has these black, demonic, bleeding eyes. Sally looked even worse, at least to me. Her eyes were missing, it looked like they were taken out, and Sally's skull was received clothes again. Blood was running from her wounds. It didn't look photoshopped, it looked actually animated. Sonic pulled Sally over like in the show, only tentacle-like. Things burst out of their mouths and they mocked, making disgusting slurping noises. I could even see them bulge in Sally's throat. Worst thing was that they even looked like they were enjoying it. For a moment, I think I was too. I could see the corrupted tails and knuckles in the background too. Sonic pulled away. So? Not bad, Sally replied. I gagged and looked away from the screen. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed something on my bed. On my bed was the Sally doll I saw on eBay, with its eyes missing. Well, that was an interesting creepypasta. My thoughts, I really like the story. A lot of blood, a lot of torture. The very ending of it with the tentacles, the tentacle mouth porno, I didn't really care for it. That's the only part of the story I didn't like. I thought it was a little much. I almost didn't want to read that because it was so much. It almost made me gag trying to read it. But other than that, really good story. Lots of blood. I love lots of blood in these kinds of stories. I love these demonic sort of stories that make you actually think something's going to happen to you in real life after you hear these stories. I just love it. And I hope you love this too. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe. I need more ideas for creepypastas to do. I have a few in mind, and I have some edited fan art for them, but after them, I will be out of new ideas, and I'm going to need you guys to help me out.